Cars Channel News and Review Car.
(2017) Citroen C3 WRC. The thrills and spills of the 2017 FIA World Rally Championship season are just around the corner, with the annual Rallye Monte Carlo slated to kick things off later next month. With the new season arrives a fresh batch of rally warriors, ready and willing to tackle the wilds of one of the most challenging race series on the planet. Rejoining the fray will be French automaker Citroen, an old standby that took a brief hiatus during the 2016 season to devote as much time and resources as possible towards the development of the new C3 WRC racer. The return of Citroen's gravel-munching stage monster coincides with the release of the non-rally prepped new C3 street car, which recently dropped cover at this year's Paris Motor Show. As a follow-up, Citroen Racing revealed its new WRC contender in Abu Dhabi, and per the new FIA regulations for 2017, it's sporting more power, more wing, less weight, and a new drivetrain outfitted with centrally controlled differential. The updates are so extensive, the 2017 cars are being labeled as next-gen racers, and when you pair the new regulations with the departure of the ever-dominant Volkswagen team, the question of who will end up grabbing the title in 2017 is still very much a matter of debate. Many observers are pointing to Citroen as a possible new favorite. With the vastly upgraded C3 WRC now on the table, things are looking up for the automaker, especially when you consider its long resume of successes in rally racing, part of which includes 96 wins and 8 manufacturers' titles in the WRC. Will Citroen be the brand to beat in 2017? Only time will tell, but for now, read on for all the nitty-gritty on the new C3 WRC. Before we into into detail on the new C3 WRC and why it could be the new 2017 favorite, it's important to get a handle on Citroen's past rally experience to understand what it's bringing to the table. Citroen got its first big wins racing in the rough stuff in the 50s, with more recent competition vehicles like the BX40C and Visa 1000 pistes providing the automaker with the hardcore experience of running in the legendary Group B era of the WRC. In 1991, Citroen entered the notoriously difficult Paris-Dakar Rally, but walked away victorious thanks to driver Ari Vatanen. Citroen then collected another 3 wins at the Dakar in 94, 95, and 96 with Pierre Lartigue behind the wheel. Citroen made its first major effort in the WRC in 2003, and amazingly, secured a 1-2-3 finish in its very first outing, with names like Sébastien Loeb, Colin McRae, and Carlos Sainz helping along the way. In 2004, Loeb began his record-breaking streak of 9 consecutive title wins at the wheel of a Citroen. Between 2008 and 2010, Citroen racked up another 3 title wins, followed by 2 more in 2011 and 2012 after the introduction of new regulations ushered in for the 2011 season. Long story short, Citroen's record in rally racing is impressive. The brand is able to boast 36 wins in cross-country rally, including 4 wins in the harrowing Dakar Rally, plus 5 manufacturers' titles in the FIA Cross Country Rally World Cup and 5 cross-country rally drivers' titles. The brand has an even stronger resume in the WRC, where it's tallied up 96 rally wins, plus 8 manufacturers' titles and 9 drivers' titles. For a complete breakdown of Citroen's rally record, scroll down to the press release attached below. With a history like that, it should come as no surprise that there are some rather lofty expectations for the brand going into 2017. As such, Citroen withdrew from the 2016 WRC season, choosing to instead devote more time and resources towards a strong showing in an upcoming season. According to Yves Madden, Belgian rally motorsport car racing champion and current general manager at Citroen Racing, the brand's decision to return to the WRC in 2017 took into account a variety of considerations. We were coming to the end of a 3-year cycle in the WTCC, just as the brand was preparing to launch a strategically important new product, new C3, Madden explains. At the same time, the FIA was in the process of putting together new regulations for the WRC. As the C3 matched the definition perfectly, well, everything just fell into place. This coming together of circumstances will help Citroen make the most of its involvement in motorsport. Citroen began its development of the new C3 Rally Racer in April of 2015, putting Chris Meek into the hot seat for its first test drive on a track about a year later. According to Madden, the new C3 captures the spirit of one of the most iconic, and dangerous, periods of rally racing in recent history, the Group B era. 30 years on, fortunately everything has changed, especially in terms of safety, says Madden. But the sense that the drivers will need to tame an aggressive, roaring beast is something that we will certainly see next season. He continued, there is an extremely spectacular side to this new generation on WRCs, adding, I think rallying remained spectacular in terms of the scenery and backdrop of the events, but the cars undoubtedly lacked a wild, crazy side. I think we'll see that again now. Citroen says it's planning on entering 2 to 4 cars for the 2017 season. The driver and co-driver roster includes Chris Meek and Paul Nagel as the team leaders, followed by Craig Breen and Scott Martin, Stéphane Lefebvre, and Gabin Moreau, and finally, Sheikh Khalid Al-Qasimi and Chris Patterson. And although Citroen has a history of performing well on first attempts, the plan for 2017 is collect a few disparate rally wins, with a full-strength push for a championship title in 2018. Citroen says it tested a large variety of iterations for the C3 WRC's exterior shape in the wind tunnel, while also utilizing CFD, computational fluid dynamics, to help guide development. The brand also tapped into experience gleaned from the development of its World Touring Car Championship, WTCC, entry, another series where Citroen has good amount of experience. Part of the process involved the use of a 40% model, which had a slew of different shapes grafted on top to find an optimal solution to the problem of going fast. Overall, the new 2017 restrictions allow for more aggressive aero, which means finding as much downforce, and as low drag, as possible is critical to success. On the outside, the new C3 WRC still uses roughly similar styling as can be found on the street-friendly variant, albeit with crazy big aerodynamics tacked on top, plus a wider, lower stance. The various wings and downforce makers are created from carbon fiber, while you'll also find a good number of vents to help keep the hot stuff cool, including airflow for the engine, transmission, and brakes. The whole shebang also underwent extensive stress tests on a variety of surfaces to make sure it was up to the rigors of a stint in the WRC. Interestingly, the new C3 WRC is the first Citroen rally car to use a 5-door body shell. However, as you can see from the pictures, the rear doors were removed, making this thing essentially a 2-door hatchback. The car is now quite a bit wider than before, with the new 2017 regulations allowing for an increase of 55 mm, 2.17 inches, from side to side. Overall width now stands at 1,875 mm, 73.8 inches, which means it should be more stable at speed, and provide the area needed for more aggressive wings. Looking at the pictures, we find Citroen's new slim headlight design in the top corners, plus double LED daytime running lights, which are connected by a distinctive double chrome bar that underlines the hood and peaks in the middle in a double chevron design. The front bumper is studded with all kinds of elements to manipulate the air to the driver's advantage. There's a new, ultra-wide front splitter to smooth air into the atmosphere at speed, plus a quad pairing of conrods in the corners to help shove the front axle into the dirt, adding additional grip and reducing understeer. Citroen says it has a few different setups for both gravel and tarmac. The car's ride height is almost certainly a factor here, Plus there are new front intakes to help funnel cooler air to the radiator, intercooler, and brakes. Aiding in the hot air's escape are vents located on top of the hood, just behind the headlights, and below the front wings. On the roof, we find that characteristic rally scoop to keep the cabin atmosphere as fresh as possible.